Welcome to another video, and in this video we will be formatting our chart. So let's just open the last file we worked with. If you don't have yours on the recent list, just go to file and do open, or you hit Ctrl O on your keyboard. All right, just wait for that to load up completely. Okay, you can see the icons loading up. Just wait for it. Just pick the charts one after the other, look at some formattings that we can do to them, and then we proceed to the next thing. So we'll start with this chart, this bar chart, and to format it, we will be using the formatting option right here. This formatting option just beside where we picked our various charts. We have it up here. It says format your visual. This one says add data to your visual. So this will select the chart, this will format it. And yes, we have more options for the chart itself for further analysis, where we can add average line and all. Okay, so let's stick here. Now, before you click this place, make sure you've selected a particular chart. The emphasis on selection was made the last time when we're picking charts, that if you click on a particular chart and you click here, the chart changes, right? And if that's not what you want to do, you must undo that. You must click outside, that means on a blank canvas, to pick a new chart, and that appears. Good. So when you're formatting as well, in this case we want to format a particular chart, so make sure you're not clicking on a blank canvas, because if you're clicking on a blank canvas and you click on this, you have the page information, canvas settings, canvas background, wallpaper, and all. That's what you get right here. This filter pane as well, that is what you get right here. Okay, so make sure that you click on a particular chart and be sure this is the chart you want to format, because based on the chart you click, you can see that the formatting option or options are different. Okay, so we want to pay attention to that as well. So I'll click on this, and then we'll go x-axis. So the first one we have is our y-axis. If there's any adjustment we want to make to that, you can come here and turn it off, turn it on, right? The list of the regions right there. Can turn it and turn it off. We can turn off the title, right? So we can turn off the title. What else? We can increase it. We can change the color. For example, it's currently on 9. You can see if I reduce it, it's becoming smaller. And if I increase it, you can see that the text or the labels are on the y-axis is now or are now bigger. So you can see I can keep increasing it like that, and then it just grows to the extent it can. All right, so let's just keep it. Now in this case, you might want to keep things consistent. So if you're using 12, you might want to keep that consistent across all the rest of the charts. And I will be showing you a very quick way to do that. Okay, it's a very quick way, an amazing trick, or a pro tip, so to say. Let me put it that trick. It's a pro tip that can let you apply the same formatting to the rest of your charts. All right, So that's that about values. We can change the color. We can change it from that color to say black, actual black. Then you see it's now black. If we want it to be red, just so we can see that it changed, you can see it's now red. But we'll keep it back to what it is. Take it back to what it is before. All right. Keep that there. Let's close the y-axis now. So it's always good that you collapse the options you're working with when you're done working with it. Okay. Just make sure you collapse it back. And for the x-axis, currently it is from 0 million to about 8 million. You can see it says minimum, where you want it to start from, and maximum, where you want it to stop. So if we look at this is like 0.8 million, roughly 0.8 million, or 0.77 million. So 0.7, 0.65, no, that's 0.7, yeah, 76. So roughly 8 million. That's just perfect the way it is. So for the values, turn it off, turn it on, just to know what controls what and when you want to format it. Now, for anyone that has this arrow pointing forward, as usual, we have seen this before a couple of times from SQL, from different places. It means it is expandable, and if I expand it, that means there are options in there. And when I'm done, I collapse it back. Okay, you want to pay attention to that. So we can expand the values and make it what? Bigger if we want to. You see, it's now bigger. We can make it bold, or we can remove the bold. All right. So the display unit, you can say no, we'll see it in thousands, and now it's showing me thousands since we don't have up to millions. So it's okay that we keep it in thousands. So 0, 200k, 600k, 400k, and 800k, just like that. So how many decimal place? If you want that, we can have that right here. If I say 2, you can see now it seems as though the rest of the values disappear. It's just because of the space. There's nowhere to contain them. Let's try 1 decimal place. Still no place to contain them. So, but once we remove it, no decimals at all. Let me put 0 there. All right, you can see that the text is back. So if it disappears, it's probably just because of space. If we leave it on 2 decimal place and we expand it forward, that will be able to take it. Okay, it will be able to take it. So the title as well, which is just sum of sales down there, turn it on and turn it off as you please. Of course, all of these formatting rules have been established since the time of Excel already. For a chart, if an element is not adding to the value of that chart, then you can take it out. But if it is adding, do not take it out. Do not take it out. If it helps user understand your charts, you might not want to take it out. Okay, so those are the things you should keep in mind. But in this video, I'm just showing you what are the different formatting options that you have or that you got. Okay. All right. So we'll close this. We'll collapse this. Collapse this. We can collapse x-axis now. You can see we're done with it, so we don't get confused on where we're working in. We also have the grid lines, vertical lines. Of course, if you pay attention to this place, let me zoom in for you. You can see the lines, right? You can see the lines running from the top down, so they are vertical. You can turn that off at this point. You can turn it off here, turn it back on. You see, vertical, just above our grid line, or just be inside our grid line, the first option there. Now, I also understand that at some point there will be some charts that we might want to format, and there might be a slight difference in the way your formatting options are. Okay, but for most times it will be the same. So if we see a chart like that, for example, let's say a card, we'll look at it together. Okay, so vertical line. So we can change the vertical line or just turn it off completely. In this case, turn it off, but you know it is useful for tracing the values down. Of course, except we want to add data labels, right? Except we want to add data labels. So if we want to be able to zoom in and zoom out, you can add slider, you can see. So you can zoom in, see, to certain parts of your data. You can zoom into certain parts of your data, but it's not doing anything. So we'll take it out or turn it off. So we can collapse the grid line. Then we have bars. So these bars now are what determine the color, right? So if you don't want this particular color, you can change it to another color and it's going to change. So that's how you change the colors of your bars. Okay, but it is better or is best instead of doing it this way, because you might need to do this for individual charts. It is better that you just customize your theme once and for all. Okay, it's better that you customize your theme once and for all. Just go to your view and under the themes, this one, current theme. So if you click on that, so you can go all the way down and you do customize current theme. So when you click on customize current theme, it will show you all the available colors. So you can pick your basic color, primary color, secondary color. It can be for a brand, so you just put the brand colors and you can even name it so that you know that, oh, this particular custom color is for this brand or something. So you can just name it and then you click on apply. So once you do that, those are the colors that will now start showing up on your charts instead of just the generic or default Power BI colors. You want to keep that in mind as well. Okay. So now you can do for individual region as well. Currently it says category all. So apply settings. Just paying attention to details will help you a lot. It says apply settings to categories all. So, but if you look at the drop down, we can change a particular one. For example, let's say West, that is the top. You can see I want to give it a more darker shade of blue just to highlight that it is the top. But this is too dark, obviously too dark. Go back to our formatting, scroll the way down, bars. Still West, good. So we probably want a shade of the color we're using for. So, all right, that looks good. Let's see if we can get something lighter. Okay, lighter is not good. Darker is perfect. It's just the color shade. Of course, we can just edit this color instead, default color that is there. Then we get a better shade. So let's just go back. All right, all I did was just undo, Control Z. That's all. So go back to the color, and we can see more colors. So currently this is the color, right? So we can just like maybe take it upwards and see it's a little bit darker. Bring it downwards towards this dark position. All right, so back until okay, this seems like slightly different now. So until we see what we want, and you can see that as long as you're tilting or you're moving um your color picker, it keeps showing you how it will look like right on the go, even before you click OK or anything, or before you cancel out or you close out. So you can see what the color will look like. Okay, if this is not dark enough, you can bring it down slightly. All right, just have to feel something different from others. It's just there like that. Okay, and if it's the lowest you want to highlight with a red or anything, you can do that easily. So you see how you can apply individual colors to your bars. Right, so this will be pretty much the same formatting options that you have for all the charts at the top here, because they are bar charts. Okay, bar or column charts, right? So let's go back bar. So, and if you want to apply to all, you want to make a settings that will apply to all, you do that. Turning off and turning on borders, you have them just right there, and you can reset back to the default. If you have applied some settings and you just want to go back to the original state at once, you can reset back to default. Okay, so let's close this. Now we have the ribbon. See what it does. So remember we saw a chart like this, and this is it, the ribbon chart. See it right here. So for any bar chart, you can turn it on and off for them. All right, So data labels, which is where we'll still probably going to, and you can see that we can turn on data labels. And of course, there are options to format the data labels as well. I'll open this, right? Expand. It says, currently I'm applying to all. Because of course, there are numbers I cannot, in this case, select what I want, or select this one or that one. So title, doesn't make sense. So sum of sales, no. So we probably do not want that. Now, if you turn this on again, you can see custom. So you can pick a particular one, add, okay, maybe West, put put this, add this, and add all of that as you want. Okay, but we will not mess with this at all. Just we have our values, that's perfectly fine. So let's look at values. It is sum of sales, right? So sum of sales, the field is sum of sales, and the sum, that's the aggregation right there. The font is, this is where we can tweak the font. You can say 12, and it becomes bigger. We can change the color or just make it bold, right? It's more obvious. You can add transparency, add units. You can see it's in thousands already. We can add decimal place, show blanks as this, detail background. If you want to give it a background, right, you can see that nice feel. This will be nice when you have a pie chart. Okay, this would be nice when you have a pie chart. Just want to give it a nice background for your numbers or your figures. We'll see it when we are using a pie chart. Okay, so we have colors as well. You can change the transparency, the layout, and all of that. So there is more. All you have to do is just explore after seeing all these basic things that I have shown you. Okay, so I'll turn off the background anyway. I'll turn off the background, and then I'll go back to collapse values, scroll up to collapse options, scroll all the way to collapse data label, because everything we've been doing is in the data label. So we've come out of the data label. So plot area background. So if you want to add image to the background, you've probably seen this, maybe you later see this in videos online, you see pictures as backgrounds and all of that. You can do it for the canvas as well. If you go to canvas, page information, canvas background, and put an image as the background of your dashboard. Okay, so let's just go back here, and we've pretty much covered everything in the visual. Then you have general options. So general options is where we now have title. It's moving away somehow from our plot area itself. So if I turn this off, you can see that the title we have there is off. So we can turn it on back. And if we expand it, by default, it gives this. But we can change it to what? For example, revenue by region. Right? And you can see it's now showing revenue by region. And do not forget that the most important thing about this is that your title should be understandable. If the consumer, you always have to keep the end user in mind. If they will not understand revenue, they might just leave it as sum of sales by region. Very important. It is very important. You don't just do it because you like it or it makes more sense to you. You must keep the consumer of your dashboard in mind. Okay, so very important to know. But if they will understand, that's perfectly fine. And make it bold, or you can take it out. Just show consistency across the rest. So if you're using your title for 14, that means the default that we have currently, make sure the rest are also 14. All right, that consistency is important. You can change the color, you can give it a background. You can now align it middle. Let me center align it, or you keep it left as you want. When it's too long, you can do a text wrap. Okay, but currently it's turned on, but we don't have any text wrap. You can turn on a subtitle, right? Apart from the main title, you can add a subtitle to that particular chart. You can add divider. You can see that separates the title from the chart. You have option for spacing here, right? Spacing. So you can turn it on and turn it off between title and probably subtitle and the what's it called itself, the bars or the plot itself. Okay, so let's scroll back up. Let's collapse title. We're done there. Effects now. So you can see background. And turn it off and turn it on. currently is white. So if you pick, for example, this dark background, you see what it changes to. So that's what the background is for. But back to what we have before, and turn on visual borders. That means when I click out, borders it. Others do not have it, okay? So it's because of the visual borders. So that's where the visual borders come from. But there's a nice feel to the visual borders, right? And under the visual borders, if you expand it, you can slightly add a rounded corner. My peak has always been 9 pixel. I've used it for a couple of times and it seems just perfect. Not too curved, just that nice feel. So 9 pixels, and if I click out again for you to see, you can see just as that all those slightly curved edges. You can have yours to be way larger than that. You can have yours to even be smaller than that as well. And of course, you can give it a matching color. Okay, go back to general. You can give it a matching color effect. Scroll all the way, visual border. I can give it a matching color. Say maybe same with the same color that it has. Let's click out again just to see that. It has that nice feel. And when the charts are laid out, you can now demarcate them instead of looking like as if it's stuck with each other or one another. With one another, yeah, each other. All right, let's go back there. We'll click on the chart. You see that I keep clicking on the chart again. If I click out, I have to click back on the chart so that I can continue with what I'm doing. So general, we're on general. We're under effects of sim visual borders. I'll just turn it off for now and see the effect of shadow. You can see you can give your chart shadow. Oh, let me click that back. So you can give your chart or your visual a shadow or your graph, however you know it to be. So effects. All right, let's collapse background. We're under shadow. And you can see you can change the color to something a little bit light, because this seems like it's popping. It's too much, too much pop. All right, and you can change how the shadow appears inside if you want it inside, as if there's a it is, you can see the view. How do I explain this now? As if it's placed inside the box, right? The chart is inside somewhere. So that's just the offset settings that you have here, and you can see the position of the shadow. It is this way, bottom right, bottom and right. So you can change it to anything you want as you please, and you can always reset to what, to default. It clears everything you have done so far under the effect. Okay, so let's close out of effects, see data format, and yeah, this is where you have your region and sum of sales. Of course, you probably don't want to find anything under the text itself, so let's pick sum of sales. And if you look at this now, you can see this is where you can format. This is just like your number formatting in Excel. Control 1, you remember, where we have a dialog pop up and we can make this a percentage or a particular currency, right? You can add a particular currency to it from here, just like that. The currency is now there. You can pick the currency as well. See all the options that you have, endless. So you see percentage format, 1000 separator, 1000 separator. That's if we have it in zeros, in hundreds, right? How did I go to decimal number? Go back there. All right, so since we don't have zeros at the end, we don't need a 1000 separator, and add decimal place to it as well. Okay. All right, header icons. Now header icons are those things that you see that it starts, rolling when something has come on, is loading, the chart is doing something or the other, and you see the icon. So for warning, for visual information, for error, for drill down, different icons actually on your chart. Depending, okay, now if you look at this chart, see the icons that we have quite a few of them. See at the top here, you can see them right there. So let's close out of that. Nothing much to do there. So you can see that I'm taking time to be detailed for the first one. Then we'll look at for other charts, what does it look like? Then it will be a good practice for you to now format your charts properly. Okay, so let's continue. Then we have the tooltip. Tooltip is what you see. Now, if we go to this chart, let's click on this chart and go back. If you scroll, one of the things we have here is what? Tooltip. Now, when we hover on this, we're seeing what? The sum of sales, right? We're not seeing the profit. What if I say profit? I want to bring in profit. Of course, it will not show visually. So if I drop profits in the tooltip, profit is now here, and I go back. You can see once I see the sales, I can also see the profit. Even though it's not part of the plot, I can still add it to my visual as a tooltip. So when I hover on it, this is what I get. Okay, so that is your tooltip option. Let's go back there. General, close out of that. Go back to tooltip, and you see you have quite a few options for your reports page. Default, you have text, you have background, and etc. You have an action as well. So that's for tooltip. And you have an alternate text which you probably will not use. Just leave that the way it is. So we've seen the formatting options we have right here. Reset all settings to default. In case you just want to, I know I've done a lot, but I just want to take the original place, and you cannot go through everything you've done one after the other. So here's your quick go. Reset. So everything just goes back to boom, the way you have it. Should we click it? All right, click it. In your own, you click it in your own. Okay, so that's that for the bars column charts. Let's look what pie chart looks like or looks like. Same should go for donut chart as well. So the visuals, we don't have too much here. Just the legend, the position of the legend. Okay, can have it stacked. See where it's stacked. Can have it at the top left. See, sum of profit, then you have it top left, or wherever you want to put it at all. You have all various positions to put it right there. And you can see you can reduce the text or you can increase it. You can make it bold. Do as you please to it. But it's not just as you please. Do what is needed professionally. Okay. So for the title, if you turn it off, you can see it's just this little one here that says, okay, these things you're seeing, these legends you're seeing represents the region. Okay. But if you don't want it, you can just turn it off completely to keep take out that. Or you can change it to something else. You can see it's editable. All right. But I'll keep it the way it is. There's nothing to change about it. That's all we have under legend. If we look at our slices, yeah, now we can do more. We can change the colors of our slices one after the other. Do not forget, just like the bars, we can apply a settings to a slice, okay? And this is, they are called series, just different series, data points, okay? So you can apply different things. So any color I pick can be will be applied to all. I can apply to a particular one, okay? All right, let's go back to detail labels. And do not forget, this is again a full walkthrough for the formatting, for the chart formatting options. Okay, so details, if I turn it off, you can see boom, everything on our pie chart is gone. But let me bring it back on. Again, position of your charts, prefer inside, prefer outside, prefer inside. You can see it forces it inside naturally. See what it looks like, and you see it gives it that nice background so that it still stands out a bit. But do not forget that anything you're doing, it is important to make sure your data can be seen is visible quickly. Your figures can be seen. All right. So down here is where we have, currently we are picking, we're showing the value and the percentage. So we can pick just the value only, just the percentage only, or the category, anything at all. We have the options right here. So we can pick percentage of total only. So we want to see the percentage. Maybe we're not interested in the value. Of course, in the tooltip is still there. You can see that the actual value is in the tooltip there, but we probably don't want it to cluster our chart up. We can do that. And we can say, okay, fine, we prefer inside. I'll just put inside there now. Okay, and you can see what it says. And if you put prefer inside, not much of a difference. Okay, it just shows it that particular way. I'll keep it outside. Keep it outside. All right. So let's collapse options. Still under the details, and we can expand values. And if we expand values, we can increase the font, change the color, background. Says it's auto in this case. We can change the units if we're looking at the value. Okay, if we're looking at the value. All right, let's close out on detail labels and go to rotation. So if you pick this, it's just the way it turns. The zeros, the starting position, it just becomes angle or degree of 10. Okay, so that's just the thing there. Nothing too much. Let's look at the general option. Title, as usual, just like that at the top there. That's what controls the title. Feel free to explore the options. It's just like the one we had earlier for bar charts. The effect, right? You remember you can turn on and turn that off as well. Background, shadow, all of those things are way available. The formatting options as well. The actual value, the sum of profit itself, the other icons and the rest, just like the way we have that particular one. So we also have properties here, right? We have the properties option where you can change the size of your chart, but you can just do that manually by dragging from the edge or by just dragging left or right as you please. All right. So let's look at a line chart. What are the options we have for a line chart? So click on the line chart now. So let's go to visual first. We have x-axis, okay, continuous, categorical, okay. So in this case, our x-axis is continuous. All right. So can add dates, invert the range. Now, do not feel free to play around with these options. I'll just show you what you have need and I'll move on. Okay. So see the values, you can increase them and you can make them bold. So you see, you can make them bold and take them out. You can keep them on 12 as usual. I think I didn't do that for this. All right, keep them on 12. The unit as well is available, decimal place available, color change available, underline or italics available as well. The title, see, you get to do that as well. You can put a new title as you choose. It's auto. You can type in something right there. You can change the color, give a background, and say show title only, which is also default right there. Y-axis. So let's close from x-axis. Y-axis has to do with this place. So you can change these to thousands, just like we did. So I'll leave that up to you to explore your values, your title, change it to thousands. Since we don't, the highest tier is not even up to million, so we can just change it to thousand. Don't want the million. Secondary axis, in this case, we necessarily do not have one. Okay, because we have seen our x-axis already. So let's just close out. Grid lines, you can turn the grid lines off. Obviously, there are grid lines there. Let me zoom in for that. For you to see, you can see the lines, rows and column. There are lines there. So you can turn that on and off. You see horizontal and vertical. They're all there. Feel free to turn them off or turn them on as you please. All right, we have the zoom slider as well. The lines for cases where you have more than one lines. You can see, you can start to add different options to them. By default is linear. You can make it smooth. All right, you see the feel of the smooth. So in case you have seen this and you're like, oh, you're wondering how do they do that? This is another one. Step option. Okay, so it's just what you want. Linear, basically, you keep it on linear. You can change the color and feel free to play around with that. Don't worry, nothing will go wrong. So if you shade it, that's almost like saying it's now an area chart anyway. Okay, so feel free to explore the options under the shaded area. The markers for everything, add markers. These are markers, and you can decide now. These are important details. You can decide to say the peak is 2022. So turn on marker for the peak. So it says, oh, okay, this is where the highest sale occurred, and you can pick the marker type. You see, and change it to a square or a box or a triangle or a rectangle, and you can increase the size as much as you want it to be. So that's a lot. That's too much. All right, we can change this back to the circle. All right, so it's obvious, right, that's the peak point that we had. You can change the color as well. You can do as you please. I'll just turn it off. All right, so data labels as well. But for line charts, we probably don't want to turn on data labels. Okay, we probably don't want to turn on data labels because we're more concerned about the trend. However, we can turn data labels on for, or we can add data labels to at a point, right? Okay, maybe at the lowest or at the peak, just to see the values there. However, if you want the labels on based on your audience, or you feel that that's the best thing to do in your case, do well to turn it on. Just click on it and your labels will come back on, and can change it to what? To thousands as usual. Okay. So I think for this particular one, I will be showing you the options that we have in our further analysis. Okay. So series label as individual points. Feel free to explore these as well. Turn it on. You can see, say, sum of sales. But of course, we don't need that. And your background area, you can change the background color and everything. So you have pretty much the same options for the general. So feel free to explore it. Okay. Now, one quick thing, just as it came now, I feel it's good to mention. Whenever you click that, all the fields you use there will be identified by, no, that's not the way to put it. Now, let's look at this. You see, I'm clicking on the line chart, and you can see that it's showing, there's a tick on the sales table. So it's telling me that all the fields I used in this particular chart is coming from the sales table. If I click here, this is coming from customer and sales. If I click here, the same. If I click here, just customer only. If I click here, product and sales. Okay, so that's just one thing you should keep in mind. All right, so feel free to explore the options we have right here. So now let's look at the further analysis option, and let's say average line. That's the only thing I will explore with you. So let's want to add an average line. Okay, so we're saying we want to see at what point did we make above average. So you can see it was only 2019 that we were short of the average, and of course that's the starting point in this. After then, we have maintained point over average, and this is like at the average point as well. You can edit it, you can change the settings, and you can feel free to do a lot with that. So just a pro tip there, feel free to explore it if you want to. And of course, right there, you can turn on a trend line to see that, okay, we're going upwards, we're not declining in sales. So far, the trend has been upward. Okay, the trend has been upward. All right. So for this, you can turn on the legends so that it shows at the top, because you might not know what the categories are, right? You might have to check over on it before you can tell that, okay, this is technology, so it has legends. You can just turn on the legends right there. And of course, you can change the color for each category if you please, if you choose to. Okay, so you can change the tiling method, squarified, binary, or you have alternating rows and columns. So as you feel it's more visibly explainable and easy to understand to your audience. Okay, I'll just keep it at the default. Okay, spaces, you can add that. Feel free to explore it. It's a good place to explore. Data labels, if you want that. You can look chaotic though. You can look chaotic because the not, except it's very big enough, and maybe just one. Okay, so this is where you now make the values bigger because the values so far are very small. So of course you expand your values and do the needful right here, change the format and all of that. We've explored that already, so we'll not take time to do that again. So for the values here, we can, this is category labels. So if we turn it off, you can see, so this is a good place to like toggle things and say, oh, what am I going to affect now? See that those are the names that you want to touch or you want to affect. So you can increase the text, increase the size, increase the value, change the color, and do as you please with it. Okay. So go to general, and then as usual, pretty much the same options we've seen before. Feel free to explore all of them. All right, let's look at our card. So for the card, we'll go to the home, look at the options we have for cards. So we can explore individual ones. They're pretty much what we've been seeing so far. Okay, the background, the accent. Now, one thing I remember that I was going to say or talk about is the background. So if I turn on the background, currently it should be on white by default. So if you want to turn it on and put, let's say, a separate color, now you notice that it is not giving you the feel for the rest of the background, right? That's because we have another option for the background. So it's either you turn it off completely or turn it on, and just quickly to general effect, you have another background you can turn on to make that well-rounded. Okay. So but let's come back here. I'll just turn that off. I'll turn that off. Feel free to explore the rest of the options that we have right here. They're pretty much the same as what we've been exploring before. And also, now this is the other background. If I turn that on, it covers side of the card. Okay, covers the side of the card. It also has the visual borders. Let's turn that off. It has the shadow effect. So you see, you can turn the shadow effect on and off. Your property, you can set the height and all of that. Your title, you can add another title to it instead of this that you're seeing. Okay, what else do you have? Let's close the effect. The data format as well, can add your formatting option to this since it's numerical. So you see the formatting options that you need to add. Okay. So feel free to explore the rest of the options right there. The last one, okay, I think this changed. It's changed. So just take this back to what it was. Right. So this is what we had before. And I'll clear the chart. So on our slicer, for our slicer now, we have this. So we can expand the slicer settings, and under options, we can select the style. So we have a tile style, you can see, where we can click on big buttons. But let's clear that out. We don't want it. So what we can pick to conserve space most of the time will be a drop down. So we conserve space that way, you can see. So we can add more charts or slicers to this place. You can just add another slicer. And of course, we're not doing any dashboards already, or this is not any professional arrangement. We just have things all over the place for now. Okay. But with this way of having slicers, we can have slices on maybe some specific charts, maybe for them only, or if it controls all our entire charts, we can also do that as well. So under your selection, if you want multiple options to be selected, it's on by default. If you don't want it, you can turn it off. If you don't want the whole option to be available, you can also turn it off as you please. So single select is also available there. You have the slicer settings, the slicer header settings, right? The say segment. If I turn it off, see, that's what you're going to touch. So you can just toggle it on and off to know what you're about to edit. It has a background, it has border, it has color, it has font size, and the icon, if it's loading, is also there. So feel free to explore that. And for the values, yes, you can see you can increase your font size, make it bold, add padding, give it space, breathing room, border and background to it as well. We've pretty much explored all of these options. We've taken time to explore it properly when we look at these major charts. So it's pretty much the same for the rest of them. And if you look at this again, properties, title, effect, data format, header icon, and alternate text is the same thing we've seen before. Okay, it's the same as we've seen before. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much all we want to do. Now, exercise for you. Of course, you know this is an active learning channel, and if you really care about your progress, you should take seriously the exercises that are given, whether verbally or formally. Okay, now with the foundation on chart formatting that you have, and the most important thing or rule you should remember and never forget is, if it's not adding value to the data, it should not be there. If it's not making, if it's not bringing clarity, if it's not making someone understand something better, just take it out. Okay, your chart should be such that when people see it, they don't question it. Is that the right word to use? You know, start asking, okay, how much is this? Why is this value not showing? Things like that. It's just visible. And, oh wow, this is perfect. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but it answers probable questions. Okay, it answers probable questions. And yes, so now you exercise these two using all those principles. You can you can refer back to the Excel video on it. A link should be a link might be in the description below, or should be pinned at the top right now. So feel free to explore it again. The rules. So you have to format all of these charts professionally, clean. And when you're done, take a screenshot of it, post it in the Telegram channel. We'll see it, review it. You have other data into system professionals right there. They see your work as well, comment on it, you improve, and you keep getting better. Okay, so that is very important thing to do. The link to the Telegram channel is in the description below. And yes, the pro tip I said I was going to give just before you go. So remember how that I applied some settings to this, and I want to apply that particular, probably just the figure. Okay, the figure option. So let's do something. Let's just stay on home. So go here and say format. Let's look for where, okay, data labels. And this is where I have it values. And I have it right here. This is where I change it to thousands. Where's that? Where's that again? So values, yeah. And units, okay. This is where we turn it to thousands. Right? This is where we turn it to thousands. So since this is what we have, and I want to apply this particular chart or this particular option to this, all I have to do is click on this chart. Okay, now I do not have the data label turned on. If I had it turned on, you can see that it's still on the same place as this. It didn't take me back. Let me show you what I mean. Now if I click on another chart, it's more like I'm on the beginning of the charts. But let me go back. I want you to really get it. Okay, it's very important you get it. Let me turn this off, turn it on again. I just applied these settings and put it back on auto, for example, auto. Okay, so I put this on auto, and I want to apply the same settings to this. So let's say I turn this turned on already. This is turned on already, right? And right here is where I change it to auto. So I can just click on, for example, thousands, and it changes to 1,000. So I'll do something. I'll change this to trillion. You can see 0 trillion. If I click this, it takes me directly to the same option as I've just formatted. So I can just easily click on trillions and it changes. If I click on, say, which one has values again, but the card options are different. Okay, the card options are different. So that is how you can apply a quick one, a quick particular formatting option to a chart of the same time. So if you have bar chart everywhere, you want to change it to, of course, we're not keeping it on trillion. I'm just going to take that out. I'll take that out again. Take that out again. There should be numbers only. Those are numbers of customer. All right. So that is how you quickly apply the formatting option. But there is more. You're probably thinking, well, that's not cool enough. I don't know. We don't have that. So let's just turn off the data label in this one. So I've not done much here. Let's assume I want to apply all the styles here, the way I have it bold, 12, all the rest of the sizes. This is gone and all of that. I'll click on the chart, click on this chart, and go to Format Painter, right? The same way we have it. So if you click on it, you can see my button is now active. So all I have to do is what? Click on this chart, and you can see immediately all the settings I've applied here is now here, just like that, in the twinkle or in a blink of an eye. And yes, this is where we call it a video, right? You can call it a day, so we'll call it a video. Wrap it up from here, and make sure you take a screenshot of your charts when it's done formatted, and you post it in the Telegram channel. Share your work with others. Let others see what you're doing. Keep yourself going. It's not something you can do in isolation all by yourself. Sometimes you'll be motivated, sometimes you'll be inspired, sometimes you won't. But if you're in a community where you have people doing the same thing, then you can keep going. So do well to join if you've not joined. The link to the Telegram channel is in the description below. If this video has helped you in a way or the other, it costs you nothing. Just hit the thumbs button for like, share with someone who might need it as well, and I'll see you in the next one.